So what if I told you that being highly intelligent isn't just about acing tests or having a crazy memory? What if some of your most common, everyday habits, yeah, the ones you might even think of as little quirks, are actually secret signs of a really powerful mind? Today, we're going to look past the old school idea of IQ.
Have you ever wondered about that? If the way you think, your habit of questioning everything, or even how much you enjoy your own company, could that all be connected to how smart you are? We're about to dive into the psychological patterns that science shows are actually linked to a higher intellect.
So let's kind of set the stage here. On one side, you've got the classic idea of IQ, the stuff that's easy to measure, like test scores, grades, how many facts you can memorize. But on the other side is what we're talking about today, hidden intelligence. And this is all about how your mind works, your habits, your thought patterns, and that natural curiosity.
Okay, our first sign turns something on its head that we usually see as a negative, overthinking. We tend to link it with anxiety, right? But what if it's actually a sign that your mind is just working on a much deeper level?
So for our first sign, ask yourself this. Do you find yourself analyzing, well, pretty much everything? I'm not talking about just worrying, but really trying to see a problem from every single angle.
Well, psychologists actually have a name for this. It's called cognitive reflection. It's that ability to just pause, question your own gut reaction, and dig deeper. See, highly intelligent people don't just react, they reflect. This isn't about your brain spiraling into anxiety. It's about your brain getting busy with some seriously complex problem solving.
And building right on that idea of deep thinking is our second sign. It's that unstoppable urge to know why. If you're the kind of person who ends up in a Wikipedia rabbit hole at 2 in the morning, or you're always asking, but why? Then yeah, this one is definitely for you. It's a sign of a real intellectual hunger.
And get this, there's a real scientific link here. It's not just some personality quirk. This study from the University of London literally connects a core personality trait, being open to new experiences, directly to a higher IQ. So your curiosity, it's not a distraction. It's the engine that powers your intellect.
Now for a sign that might actually surprise you. In a world that seems to reward the loudest person in the room, true intelligence is often found in the one who's listening the most.
And that brings us to sign number 3, which is all about talking less and observing more. Now, this isn't just about being quiet. It's about active observation. Smart people aren't just hearing the words someone says, they're processing the entire situation. They're picking up on the tone, the emotion, and the unspoken logic that most people completely miss. It's a skill that shows both high emotional and logical intelligence.
Our fourth sign is, well, it's beautifully counterintuitive. It suggests that one of the smartest things you can possibly do is admit that you don't know everything. This means embracing sign number 4, you doubt yourself from time to time. And believe it or not, that can be a huge strength.
It really comes down to two totally opposite concepts. On one side, you've got intellectual humility. That's the self-awareness to know the limits of your own knowledge. This is what keeps you curious and keeps you learning. And then on the other side, you have the Dunning-Kruger effect. That's a cognitive bias where people who know the least tend to overestimate their abilities the most, which ironically stops them from ever learning more.
All right, our fifth and final sign really challenges the idea that you have to be social all the time to be happy. Number 5 is all about finding genuine enjoyment in being alone. And I don't mean feeling lonely, I mean truly valuing your solitude.
And yeah, the research totally backs this up. It shows that highly intelligent people can actually get less satisfaction from constant social hangouts. So why is that? Well, it's because their minds are often busy wrestling with bigger ideas that just require focus and deep, uninterrupted thought. So really, what this all means is that if you're someone who feels drained by endless small talk but totally recharged after having some time alone to just think, you're not antisocial. You're just giving your brain the creative space it's craving to work on complex ideas.
So when we put all of this together, what do we get? These 5 signs, they're not just a random list. They really form a kind of blueprint for a mind that's naturally wired to think more deeply.
Let's just quickly recap them. First, we have productive overthinking. That's cognitive reflection. Then, there's that insatiable curiosity. Third, active listening and observation. Fourth, embracing doubt through intellectual humility. And finally, valuing solitude to give your brain space to think. These are the hidden signs of a really sharp mind. Which brings us to a final question I want to leave you with. After hearing about these 5 signs, how is your intelligence secretly showing up in your day-to-day life? Maybe it's time to start seeing some of those quirks not as flaws, but as what they really are, your greatest strengths.